This is how TJR has been able to get his Koenigsegg and is also making many millions per year on top of that. And we're going to break down exactly his offer structure that has allowed him to generate so much revenue, the content system that he uses to bring eyeballs onto his personal brand and then convert people, and then ultimately also the funnel and a whole breakdown on that. So we're going to speak about all of the little things that I haven't seen other people speak about when it comes to the best practices that are effective at getting these results. And yeah, that said, let's dive straight into it. In terms of offer structure, the first thing that we got to understand that the biggest revenue driver is this high ticket offer that he's got priced between $4,000 to $7,500. It comes with weekly group coaching calls by TJR himself for a 90-day period. And then he also does daily group coaching calls with specialized coaches that he's got on a payroll, and they help people out on a more frequent basis as well for the 90 days too. Then he offers a community aspect and also a course that you get for a lifetime. And this is essentially what his main offer is looking like. Now, what's the content funnel and system that allowed them to essentially convert all of these people? Of course, he's operating on different social platforms, but the biggest needle driver has definitely been his YouTube channel, right? This is where he's able to nurture people the most, build trust, and also establish him as an authority and then convert people. So we're going to be looking at this first, and then we're going to be looking at the functions of all of the other social platforms. In terms of YouTube, as you can see, his channel right here is almost at 1 million subscribers. Started at about 100,000 subscribers 12 months ago. And we can definitely see a pattern here with the content that he puts out and where he brings people onto. The first thing that we got to understand that he puts out 3 types of content. He's got lifestyle content, which are the videos where he speaks about where he goes on vacation, where he buys a supercar, right? These tend to be between 40 minutes to 1 hour and 20 minutes long. Then he's got videos on trading insights, right? Based on his experience, his expertise, what he's gained over the years. This is, right, a second type of video that he makes. And then he's got his live trading sessions, which are most of these right here, where he just shares on a day-to-day basis how he's trading, right, what he's investing in, if he's making any money or not. Now, when looking at the types of content and trying to understand what is working best for him and why he's built this particular system, we gotta understand the purpose behind each one of them. And to understand the purpose, we also gotta understand the stage of the different funnels that you can be in, right? So there's top of funnel content, there is middle of funnel content, and bottom of funnel content. At the very top of the funnel, these are the types of content that are used to bring awareness and eyeballs onto the personal brand, right? So this is going to be the types of contents that brings new people onto him to then be nurtured by the latter stages, because middle of funnel content is then used to build trust, right? And this is for people to then, right, after they came in for the top of funnel content through awareness, to then say, hey, I kind of like this guy. I see him as an authority in this space. And that's the purpose of the middle of funnel content. The bottom of funnel content is then to convert people, right? Once they've been nurtured, once they spend a lot of time consuming your content and see you as an authority figure, that's where you present the CTAs to, right, get them enrolled onto the info products. Now, in terms of the content that he puts out, this is where we can, right, break them down into, because his top of funnel content is the videos that I showed above, right? How he got a supercar, how he went on a vacation, videos on his experience in trading, right? This is things that people might search on the YouTube search bar, and that's where he comes up. Or also just follow his lifestyle that also interlinks with the other social platforms. Now, the live training sessions that he puts out, where he shows how much money he's making and how much money he's losing, this is where people get to see, right, him as an authority figure if they do relate with him and they do like him. Now, one of the great things he does is that he also shows his losses, like in this example here, right? So this builds a lot of trust and relatability, because Nowadays, everyone just shows the wins, but not the downsides that they may have when operating in a certain business model. And as we can see here from this comment on one of his latest videos, they were like, hey, I appreciate your transparency by showing his losses. So this is what he uses to build a lot of trust and consideration of the people. And when we go on the YouTube channel, right, you can see these are the types of contents that he actually posts. Now the bottom of funnel, right, what he uses to convert people, this is what interlinks with the funnel breakdown that we're going to cover in a second, because everything we can see on his YouTube channel in terms of the links that he pushes on his link right on the bio or on the descriptions of his videos are to one place, right? And that's the VSL landing page, the call funnel that we're going to break down now in a second. Because the VSL, right, this is a snippet of the funnel itself. This video sales letter that lasts between 10 to 30 minutes usually is what creators use to indirectly sell people that are already nurtured, right, and want to have that closer proximity to the creator to work with them directly and learn from their expertise on a closer level. This is what they use to essentially convert them at the end of it. And this will be the bottom of funnel piece of content that we're going to cover in a second. But now let's understand the content strategy that TJR uses in his personal brand, right? As you can see, he follows one clear pattern when we go on this screenshot here of his personal brand. He always does free middle of funnel content, which is the live trading videos that he puts out. And then he follows with either showing one lifestyle video or a trading insight video, which is a top of funnel content piece, right? So he always switches from middle of content free and then one top of funnel. The bottom of funnel, again, we said, is covered by the CTA on the links that people click on. And that's the pattern that he's followed. Also, another thing you're going to realize, of course, the lifestyle videos and the trading insight videos, which are top of funnel awareness pieces of content, get many more views than the ones where he trades and shows his wins and losses. This is how he operates on this side. Now, let's look at the other social platforms. He's big on, of course, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Now, Instagram serves a certain function, right? This is where he can portray his lifestyle through the images, and then for the short form content, he's able to do essentially shorter content that gets a lot of eyeballs onto his page, right? And then the whole goal of this is, one, for people to see the social proof on the testimonials that he shows throughout. Two is for them ideally to be already familiar with his YouTube channel or find them on that platform and then be nurtured there. And then once you're ready, of course, the only link that he portrays is the one to his funnel, his call funnel with the VSL that we're going to cover in a second. Then he's got his TikTok. His TikTok cross posts similar short form content that he makes on the Instagram as well. And again, these are used to drive a lot of eyeballs onto his content. And then through there, click onto the funnel, right? And Twitter, very similar. Just in this one, he doesn't post short form content. It's more tweets that he puts out or things that he retweets. But again, in all of these social platforms, there's only one main link, and that's leading to the main funnel that we're going to cover now in a second. So the whole purpose, again, is to bring him onto the VSL. Now, that being said, let's look into the $9.5 million funnel that has allowed him to get to this level. As I said earlier, all of the social platforms bring the eyeballs onto the call funnel. Now, he also operates on a secondary free course funnel, which is used to further nurture the people. On his YouTube channel, in the description, right, when we zoom in here, he's got a second link, which is the free course funnel, and on his Instagram page, you can put two links as well. So the second one is the free course funnel, but the primary is the call funnel that converts all of the people. Now, let's quickly look at the free course funnel, because this is where the people that have not spent enough time with TJR himself are able to get more nurtured and then put back into the primary funnel. In terms of the free course funnel, as soon as you click on the link, you're brought to this landing page right here, right? Where you put in your name, then there's a drop down that asks for your email address and your phone number. This is to create less friction. And then you're presented with a formula that you have to fill out. So they ask you how much money do you have available to spend on trading, and this is an indirect a financial qualification question to see how much money the prospect has. If they fill out that, right, they've got more than $10,000, they're going to be qualified for the high level programs, and then the dialers and the setters are going to be making sure to reach out to these types of leads. Because all of these infos that are collected here are used to build email lists that then they can categorize the people with how much money they have available, right, how warm they are, and then for which program they would make the best fit for. Then they also ask you for your trade experience and also any obstacles that you may have, put as an optional question to make it less intrusive. And then that's where you have the option to get the free course sent to your email, and they even offer an option to upsell you on a low ticket product that we're gonna see. But if you click on no thanks, I just want the course, right, they then tell you it's being sent to your email, and that's where the email sequences are sent off. The first one is the one where you get access to the course, right? And then of course you've got the second option, which is the upsell. In case you click on the upsell, you're brought onto this landing page here where you can pay $17, again, as low friction as possible, to get people to spend more time consuming content of TJR and at some point get results and then want to get the higher level programs. And if you opt in for the free course, you're hit with this WAP page, which again allows you to, if you already have an account, to go straight into it. If not, you got to create one, and you get to access the 5 hours of course material. And again, the whole goal is to nurture people and bring them to the high ticket offer that we initially spoke about, which is where the call funnel comes into play and where the call funnel does the conversions. As soon as you click the primary link on YouTube and Instagram, you're brought onto a lead capture landing page. Now, these are the landing pages that you get to see. You can see there's different landing pages depending on the social platforms. You've got one for YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, which are the same, and then you've got TikTok. All of them do the same function. They're very similar like. What they are doing though is split testing the titles to see what's converting best, right? On YouTube, you can see there's a different title, and that's the only thing that changes. And so there is on the Instagram landing page, and then on the TikTok one. Now, another thing you're gonna notice is the thematic of the funnel will remain the same throughout. This is to keep things consistent and, right, psychologically also coherent. So, you know, this is something professional. Next thing you notice is they make use of Trustpilot and WAP badges. Trustpilot, of course, is known as a reputable review source, as nowadays any review can be faked, and right, some can argue this can be even done on Trustpilot, but it naturally generates more trust. And WAP, since this year, right, with its strong upcoming and people trusting it more, and it's very familiar in the trading space, again, allows people to relate more when coming onto this landing page and seeing this. Now, when you click on the fact that you want to join on this landing page, you are hit with this pop-up, which is a lead capture, right? They ask you for the name, email address, and phone number, similar to the free course funnel. This is to build the email list, right? And what's very interesting is only for the TikTok one, right, you get redirected to a different page. For YouTube, Instagram, and the X landing pages, when you put in your details, you're brought straight onto the VSL landing page. However, on TikTok though, you're hit with this paywall where they ask you for an application fee of $27. Now, this is again another of the things that they're split testing, because the whole purpose is to weed out unserious people. What tends to happen is people that are willing, right, to spend a bit of money to unlock the next stages and be able to see if they can be a good fit are going to be way higher quality of people ready to purchase and to take action, right? They're going to have a different mindset. And these are the people that, one, right, are going to be more serious, but two, most likely are going to have a higher closing rate when it comes to the end discovery call. So this is something that they're testing out, and it's very interesting to see. And of course, just from the WAP review page alone, we can see it's got 397 reviews, right? When you click on it, so that shows a lot of people would have gone through this funnel and were open to pay for it. So it's interesting to see that they're split testing this. Now, once you pay for the application fee or you're straight brought onto the VSL landing page, you're brought onto the application page right here, right? This is, again, follows the same thematic, and the first thing you see is the VSL video, which is what does all of the conversions, as we said earlier. And this is optimized just to get people to click, to watch it, and to watch it to the very end, right? So the only thing you can do is pause the video, click play. You can't adjust the volume. You can't skip the video, right? It's designed that you start watching it, and right, with the first few seconds of the videos, you want to be dialed in and want to finish it so you can consume all of the information and see how TJR can help you. And then at the very end, this is where, again, they provide you with the CTAs to apply for the Blueprint Trading mentorship program access. Now, when you go a bit down of the landing page, you've got the qualification form, which is what all of the VSL and the call funnels use to qualify people to see if, right, you're ready to get to a discovery call. And then they also present you with testimonials, right? This is an embedded YouTube video where he shows a story of how someone went and was able to make $93,000. Again, as I put it here, it's all to build trust. And they only decided to put one video because sometimes you see some creators posting a lot of individual testimonial videos, but what can happen is people get lost watching them, right, and spend 10 minutes watching one video, 20 minutes watching another one, then you get distracted and you get derailed from all of the information that you just consumed in the VSL, which is, right, what does all of the selling. So included one video, which is great, and then of course all of the screenshot testimonials and the finish applying now button, which redirects you to the qualification form. Now the qualification form itself is interesting because they made use of only 6 questions. Usually this is where people go much more in depth to qualify the prospect, see their obstacles, how much money they're making, how much money they do want to make, right? All of the typical questions. However, TJR, what he does is really low friction questions to get the information of the prospect, and then also to be able to have a lot of volume when it comes to having people get onto the calls. Because as you can see here, initially they ask you about the biggest obstacle of what's holding you back. Then they speak about, right, asking you for the name, phone number, email, how old you are, what you're trying to get out of working with TJR. And then question 5 and 6 is the truly qualification questions. Because they ask you, right, do you have an income source to essentially qualify you to see if you've got money to invest into the mentorship program? If you click yes, you're brought on to the next question. If you click no, you're disqualified and you're put into a downsell funnel that I'm going to show you now in a second. Now, if you click yes, you're brought onto the 6th page where they ask you how much, if there's going to be an upfront investment for the program, if you're willing and able to invest. If you click yes, that's the only option to then get qualified. If you're not willing to invest or you're unsure, you're put into the side funnel. Now, as I just said, there's 2 different funnels that you put into. If qualified, you're still in the call funnel stages. If not qualified, you're put into the downsell. Now, the downsell is essentially a low ticket ebook, and it's the one that we've seen in the free course that they try to upsell you with, right? It's the one for $17. And again, the whole purpose is to continuously nurture people and get them to consume more content of TJR with the goal of eventually getting value, getting results, and then being qualified for the mentorship program. If they are qualified, they get the option to book themselves in onto a calendar, right? As we, right, covered with all of the other funnels, this is the next stage. Now, one of the things that they do really well at every single stage, they speak about the Trustpilot reviews, the WAP, just to create this consistency with the theme as well, but also with how people can relate. And then a badge of how many people are actually in the program. Now, you've got a limited availability, which is, again, what causes people to book themselves in to speak to or get on the discovery call as soon as possible so that they're fresh with the information that they consumed on the VSL video. This will help with conversion rates. Then you get on to filling out the questions, and what we notice here, usually some VSL funnels have more in-depth questions, others may have nothing. What they focus on right here is the strict cancellation policy, and that you've got to check this box here to know that if you miss it, you're going to be banned from being able to apply again. This is to keep the show up rates as high as possible when it gets to the day of the call. And then as you book yourself in, you're brought onto this call booking confirmation page, right? Very similar to others, just more boiled down, where they have a screenshot of what you got to do, right? Click yes on the event, and then a video of TJR himself for 1 minute saying congratulations on booking yourself in and telling you about the next steps of what you can expect on the call. Now, this is where the email sequences are triggered after you booked yourself in and they have your details. One, the representative that gets on the discovery call with you, Lewis, is the one that reaches out first. He provides you with the Zoom link, asks you to reply yes to confirm the call that you're going to show up, and also provides you with some additional content. An interesting thing to note off the get-go was when I saw that they wrote TJR attends the calls if he has time, right? It will be likely be three of us. So again, this is to increase the show-up rates, because the reality of the matter is, at the scale that TJR is, right, he won't be able to attend these calls because there's just too much volume and he doesn't have so much time in the day. But this is mainly to increase the show-up rate when it gets to the call. Two is the fact that they provide you with a checklist, right? And this is an additional qualifier, because if you take the time as a prospect to click on this link and fill out the checklist, the people on the CRM are going to be able to know, hey, this is a much warmer lead because you took all of the steps, right? And then either they can assign you to different types of closers, or they're going to have this information pre-call, which is going to help them with the selling process. Now, when you click on the check link, you're brought onto this landing page here where you've got 3 different checkboxes. When you click on each one of them, you're brought onto these stages. The first one is what to expect. This is where TJR himself has a video of what the coaching calls are looking like, so that people have an idea of how this is going to be, right? Here, it's himself speaking on one of the calls, showing his trades, and then they also show what's coming with the mentorship. This is for people to know prior to the call what's actually included in the entire package. And if this is not what you're looking for, you dip before the call and no time is wasted. 2, when you get onto the second bit of the of the checklist, you have an FAQ section. This FAQ section essentially covers any objections that, right, they tend to have on these discovery calls, but in a written format. And they also use it to show 2 selfie style videos, essentially testimonials from people that got results, so that, right, there's more trust building in the process. Then the third thing is a welcome video of TJR himself, where again, by viewing these videos, you've got more touch points with the personal brand. You feel closer to the creator, in this case TJR, and when you when you do all of these 3 things before the call, chances are going to be very high that you're already, right, eager to join and start getting results, and that you're sold on the idea of getting this closer proximity to him. Now, after the initial email that gets sent out immediately of booking yourself in, 20 minutes after that, you get an automated email which comes directly from TJR himself, right? It's this email right here where, again, he asks you to confirm, right, if you can show up, and he also restates that he may show up himself onto the call to link to what he said earlier. And then 10 minutes after that, TJR sends another email with access to Secret Vault that you don't hear at any point prior to getting into the funnel. And they provide you with the login details and the landing page where you can get access to this additional material. Now, this is positioned to be, again, exclusive, so that you feel like, hey, not everyone is getting access to this. I might as well make use of it. But then secondary, right, the whole goal is to nurture people in the process. So this is the Secret Vault exclusive access. You got to put in the details, right, which makes it seem more personalized. And then as soon as you put that in, you're brought onto this second landing page similar to the checklist one in terms of the platform that they use to host it. And they provide you with these 4 folders or sections. Each one of those folders has one video of TJR, right? For example, the $1 million trading method, which is almost a 20-minute long video where he speaks about a particular insight in the trading niche, but again, uses this as an opportunity to get more touch points and nurture people even more. And this is the same with all of the other 4 pieces of content. And now, prior to the call, they've got the dialers as well, hitting up the phone numbers of the people that booked themselves in, just to confirm the show-up rates, if people have any questions. And this is, again, to ensure that there's a closer proximity to the prospect and that there's going to be a higher show-up rate in the end of the day when it comes to the discovery sales call. And on the call itself, if the prospect is a good fit, they're presented with the offer and enrolled for the $4,000 to $7,500. And this is, in a nutshell, the entire funnel that has allowed TJR to get himself to Koenigsegg and make multi-millions per year through selling info products on this particular niche of trading.